So back at it with some unsanctioned Magic the Gathering cards today. It's gonna be the blue pack. Um, Already done three other colors. Earlier today I did the black cards. Um, so this one is Alexander Clamington. I guess it's supposed to be, a spoof on the founding father Alexander Hamilton, but it's a clam. It's a legendary creature, clanfolk, advisor, rebel. It's a 0/4. Whenever you cast a wordy spell, scry 2. A spell is wordy if it has 4 or more lines of rules text. 1 and a mountain tap. Choose target creature you don't control. Reveal the top card of your library. Alexander Clamington gets plus X plus 0 until end of turn, where X is a number of lines of rules text of the reveal card. Alexander Clamington fights that creature. Avatar of Me. It's a star. This spell costs 1 more to cast for each 10 years you've been alive. Avatar of Me power is equal to your height and feet, and its toughness is equal to your American shoe size. Round to the nearest half. Avatar of Me is the color of your eyes, and its cost is 2 and 2 islands, but you're then adding 1 additional mana, colorless mana, for each 10 years. So, if you're 40, well, instead of being 2 and 2 islands, you're adding 4 colorless mana because you're 40. So it'd really be 6 and 2 islands. But it where it's a star, it could potentially get interesting depending on, your height and shoe size. The next one we have is Planeswalker. I don't remember seeing one in the black. I don't remember about the other colors because it's been a couple weeks since I filmed those ones. Legendary Planeswalker, B-O-B, and the name of the Planeswalker, the card name is B-O-B, and it's partially covered up, but it looks like bevy of beebles or something. Again, the name's partially covered up. As B-O-B, okay, so it does actually have it in parentheses. Bevy of Bevels enters the battlefield. Create 4/1/1 blue Beeble creature tokens. The number of loyalty counters on Bob is equal to the number of Beebles you control. Create or sacrifice Beebles whenever Bob gains or loses loyalty. So the +1 ability is up to X target Beebles can't be blocked this turn, where X is the number of cards in your hand. So you start with 4 of those 1/1 tokens, and then if you +1, you're getting a 5th one, and then each X of those Beeble tokens can't be blocked depending on your hand size. So um, you know they're not going to be destroyed by being blocked if you have at least 5 cards in your hand. Obviously, if someone has a card that says destroy target creature, they could still get destroyed that way. Then the -1 ability was to draw a card. Chicken a la King. It's a 2/2. Whenever a 6 is rolled on a 6-sided die, put a 1/1 counter on each bird. You may roll dice only when instructed to. Tap an untapped bird you control, roll a 6-sided die, like now. Find it interesting that, it has like now in parentheses, because, what, am I going to roll the dice on someone else's turn, or 5 turns from now? I mean, it's telling me to do it, let's just tell me to do it now, as if that wasn't obvious. Johnny, combo player. It's a legendary creature, human gamer. 4, search your library for a card, put that card into your hand, then shuffle your library. And so that's kind of interesting because I feel like there's another silver bordered card called Timmy, I believe, but Timmy's a green creature instead of a blue creature, and you pay 4 to put a creature from your hand to your onto the battlefield. So if you had both of those, the blue one would allow you to search your library for a creature, and then the green guy would let you play it out, which would be beneficial if you had some kind of crazy high mana cost creature. I have a worm that I can't think of the name of. It's a 15/15, and it's either when it enters the battlefield or it dies, it creates a couple of worm tokens, but it costs like 11, so unless you have Timmy to play it out for 4, you may or may not be playing your giant 15/15 worm. But getting a little bit on a tangent, so the next card, Richard Garfield, PhD, legendary creature, human designer. You may play cards as though they were other cards of your choice with the same mana cost. You can't choose the same card twice. Mana cost includes colors. Water gun balloon game. So kind of a carnival-y circus kind of feel. It's an artifact. As water gun balloon game enters the battlefield, each player puts a pop counter on, and it looks like Q in parentheses, but the arc goes through it. Whenever a player casts a spell, move that player's pop counter up 1. Whenever a player's pop counter hits 5, so it's probably supposed to be on 0 instead of Q. That would make more sense. Whenever pop player's counter hits 5, that player creates a 5/5 pink giant teddy bear creature token, and results all pop counters return to 0. Um, so, entertaining way to get tokens. Carnivorous Death Predator. So, obviously it's a bird. So 2/2 has flying. At the beginning of your upkeep, sacrifice Carnivorous Death Parrot unless you say its flavor's text. And the flavor text is save a kill spell to deal with this guy. Cheaty Face, and it's a genie. The creature type is Efret. It's a 2/2. If Cheaty Face is in your hand, you may sneak Cheaty Face onto the battlefield. If an opponent catches you right away, that player may exile Cheaty Face. Flying. So that's kind of interesting that it actually has a mana cost, but the text rule is telling you to, basically cheat it onto the battlefield. Common Courtesy, and it looks like some sorcery, wizard people. It's an enchantment. Whenever a player casts a spell without asking your permission while casting it, counter that spell. Whenever a player asks your permission to cast a spell and you refuse, counter that spell and sacrifice Common Courtesy. So that's would be entertaining in a normal game if it wasn't a silver bordered card. Magic Word. Equipment Aura. Enchant creature. As Magic Word enters the battlefield, choose a word. Whisper the chosen word. Tap enchanted creature. Merman. Whenever this creature enters the battlefield, you may draw a card. And it's a 3/3 that costs 4 in an island. So another one of those odd, kind of expensive cards that doesn't do as much as you would think for the mana cost. Rings a Bell. It's an enchantment. As Rings a Bell enters the battlefield, choose a word with 4 or more letters. After you say the chosen word for the first time each turn, an opponent may ring or imitate a bell within 5 seconds. When no opponent does, draw a card. And the flavor text on that one is ding ding ding. Rock Lobster. Artifact creature. Lobster. It's a 4/3. Creature's name. Scissor Lizard can attack or block. So, kind of a going with the rock, paper, scissors theme. I forgot that there was the Scissor Lizard card. So now we have the Rock Lobster. I don't remember if we've seen a creature with paper in it yet or not. Timeout. It's an instant. Roll a 6-sided die. Put a target non-land permanent into its owner's library. just beneath the top X cards of that library, where X is the result. So if you roll a 6, it would be under the 6th card. Kind of an interesting way of dealing with something that you don't want on the battlefield. Topsy-Turvy, which actually had been upside down in comparison to the rest of the deck, but I turned upright to be able to read it. It's an enchantment. The phases of each player turns are reversed. The phases are in reverse order, ending, post-combat main, combat, pre-combat main, and the beginning. As long as there are more than 2 players in the game, the turn order is reversed. Wall of Fortune. And, there are a bunch of, dice. It's a 0/4 artifact creature. The creature type is wall. And because it's a wall, it has that defender and the rules text. You may tap an untapped wall you control to have any player re-roll a die that player rolled. So is how many of these cards have something about rolling a dice? Doing that could potentially work in your favor. If you're rolling something and you got a 1, but you were hoping for like a 5 or 6, well, you could tap that untapped wall to re-roll for something higher. Or if your opponent rolled something good, you can do the same thing to try to force them to maybe have a worse roll than they just had. And again, Underdome for the extra land. Tap for a colorless mana, or tap for 1 mana of any color. Spend this mana only to play silver bordered costs. And then we get to the islands. Hopefully you found this interesting, and keep checking back for the last pack of unsanctioned cards and other Magic related videos. Plus, I also do video game walkthroughs, mostly Pokemon fan hacks, but there are a couple other oddballs I do from time to time. Hopefully you enjoyed this, and keep checking back for new and different videos. Have a good day.